Entertainment news.
Happy Monday, everybody. Alright, there's so much to be happy about. So I'm gonna just show you how many builds I have in Monster Hunter Wilds. This is why I held off on making both like my layered fashion videos and like my build videos, because check this out. All these pages, all 50 plus pages of builds that I made, I think I'm like actually 40 plus. Yeah. So all these pages of all these builds, I had to delete every single one because when you augment these armors, like you upgrade them with the armor spheres, you gain slots. You actually gain slots. So if you have no slots on your armor, I think you get 3 ones. Or I could be wrong. It could just be whatever. But like from what I've seen, like you upgrade the slots that you have to the next level, and if you don't have any, you gain new slots. So it's like I have all these builds, and they're pretty much pointless because I can now squeeze more skills on them, and it makes more of the lower rank armors like Odogaron's burst boost more viable, more applicable. Fuck, my mouth is dry. Do I have any coffee left? All right, cool, cool. And also, what else? What else? Well, you have to beat Gogmazios to actually get the new Ardean weapons, so there's no going around it. Like, you have to build your dragon, and you have to build your fire, because apparently fire melts off the tar armor that he has, and then you use dragon, because he's an elder dragon, to do damage to him. So it implements the weapon switching mechanism to great effect, because now we literally have a use for it. Like, my experience with this was Cold Taroth, where she had like a bunch of phases. One was like, okay, she's just normal, and then you have to heat up the gold. So you use fire to heat up the gold, and then once the gold is heated up, you use electricity to, basically break it off and do damage. And then after the gold's fallen off, you do ice to do damage to the actual like Cold Taroth monster and stuff. But, it's gonna be so sick. We're getting not only augmented armor, we're getting possibly, I'm just gonna come out and say this. It's gonna be the biggest and longest, most arduous grind of all grinds. Like, if you thought, what the hell was it called? Like augmenting and like, like augmenting your armor with like curio crafting was like annoying in Monster Hunter Rise and Sunbreak. Oh, dude. Okay, so this is what you do. You grab enough Auracite, right? So you need about, I think, 50 to 60 for the base game, right? And then you upgrade it to its max level. And then you get a special type of ore from Gogmazios, and then you use that alongside other ores to basically unlock level 6 or 7. I think it goes up to level 6 or 7, right? And then it comes with a set bonus, I think. I'm hoping it's a set bonus and it's not some bullshit where it's just like, okay, weapon skills all over again. Although that would be nice too. Like, I wouldn't mind White Flame Torrent, Slick Blade, um, I guess Corn Popper for Gunlance, and I don't know, maybe the Omega one with like the Great Sword and like the Sword and Shield with its skills. So like, you get a perfect block and it gives you defense. I forget what the Great Sword one does, but a lot to look forward to. And everybody who talked trash about like all the builds being limited, like myself included, because I don't know, maybe it's just me using bow without Constitution 5 is such a pain in the ass, because even with Constitution 5 I'm like, damn, my stamina takes forever to like regenerate. And most likely this will be like remedied in the future with like, I don't know, some sort of latent power trigger or something like that. Because like the closest thing we actually have to that is the Omega armor, where the original, not the Savage Omega armor. So the original Omega armor gives you the ability to do that parry attack that drains your health, but it also activates latent power, so that's pretty useful. Mm, um, Another one would be like getting one like armor piece for Ray Dow. So latent power secret basically, or I think it's called Ray Dow's voltage in this game. So latent power lasts from like, I think like a minute something to like 2 minutes, and then like I think two something with like the four set. So that could be pretty, interesting. Like a four piece of Ray Dow, but then you only carry three pieces of the armor, and then whatever your two piece you wanna, go Black Eclipse, or you wanna go right, and then Black Eclipse, which I think everybody sleeps on more or less because I think they did something to the way that they handled resuscitation. So instead of like it active during both your power up phase, so like after you've beaten the frenzy virus, it's only active during the frenzy virus, which is kind of garbage. I think I don't know if they changed it back because this is how it used to be. It used to be 20 raw after you've beaten the frenzy virus, but you had to use like four pieces of Gormagala. So that's just it's not the most offensive armor set outside of bow and maybe insect glaive, and whatever weapons or whatever it uses Constitution as a skill because it has Constitution and evade window. No, maybe dual blade, I guess. But yeah, a lot to look forward to in the Monster Hunter Wilds realm. I can't believe that like people were complaining about it like for forever, and it's just like, why are you complaining? Like literally every single one of these builds that I've made, I have to get rid of them because like they have more slots now. Their armor values are higher. Like it actually makes more sense to run defense 7 all the way. So extra 10 plus defense, plus 100 plus whatever, blah 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 resistances, yada yada yada. Yeah, lots to look forward to in the Monster Hunter Wilds realm, and like no word yet. Well, actually, I'm such a bad reporter. I didn't actually watch the monster showcase or whatever, because like my time is different. They said like 2 o'clock Pacific time. I think it's like it already showed, and I'm just whatever. I'm just gonna go on like work out and then like watch it because I don't think like I can put any input, credible input that like you can't get for outside of watching it, other than like my opinions on the whole Monster Hunter Wilds debacle. So in the beginning, this game wasn't working too well on PCs, and I think it's still kind of iffy, right? Like for me on console, like yeah, the frame rate isn't 60, but it's close enough, and I can actually put it to like a low graphical mode to get like a off 60, but it's more like 40, 50, variable refresh rate. Uh, and then like people are complaining on Xbox, or so I heard. Right, so this game is very, I would say, console locked to PlayStation, where it's just niche, where you have to have a very, significantly powerful PC. Or I've heard that a lot of people have been having a better time with its performance using an AMD card versus an Nvidia card. So then there's that. Um, Also, the monster variety lineup isn't all that much, and to their credit, like the people complaining about this, I kind of agree. I wouldn't mind, just some palette swap monsters just to like increase the roster just a bit, and then like obviously add their palette swap armors and stuff. Because like, how hard could that be? Like it's just the same armor set. You just palette swap, boom. You just add some new skills, new slots, whatever. Mess with the resistances if you have to, or whatever, and you're good. Now we have like just basically all the monsters are more or less like new. Like I think the only reoccurring monster is Rathalos, and it's only Rathalos and Dogoshima, because you have a Guardian version of them. So they both have a regular and Guardian version of them, whereas Anjanath just has the Guardian, Odoberon just has the Guardian. It's not limited to that. And like there's speculation as to what like the Guardian and the Frenzy statuses will have in the long run. So it'll be like, what is it? Maybe some like after like Arch Tempered, what's his name? Damn, I've like brain freeze. Oh, Jin Dahad. So after Arch Tempered Jin Dahad, most likely we'll be seeing some forms of like Frenzy, maybe some forms of Guardian monsters, as opposed to like, just another star increase. Oh, we go from 10 stars to 11 stars to 12 stars. You know what I mean? It's getting ridiculous. And having fought, like, I had footage for it, but I was like, holy shit, like, the fight took me like 25 minutes. I'm not gonna, like, cut and edit footage of that. So I'm showing you Elden Ring and, like, Daemon X instead. But it's like, yeah, man, like, it gets to the point where they are spongy, right? And the reason why I showed off all my builds in the beginning is not just because, like, whatever, like, these are the builds I had since, like, basically the beginning of the game, and, like, I've crafted them and, reworked them and all that stuff, yada yada, right? But, like, they're all going to have to change. They're all subjected to, you know, a significant increase in, like, survivability, defense, resistances, like, you name it. Like, with all that open space, one can only hope for, like, actually nothing. Like, I can stick Marathon Runner 3 on an Adogaron armor set and then run, like, dual blades or even, like, bow, and then still have, like, room for Constitution 5 and maybe, I don't know, like, flinch free if I really had to, or, some crazy skill like, Gobbler or whatever. Like, there's just the skill, the ceiling for build potential and capability is limitless. But with all the good news comes the bad news. The bad news. Da da da. Yeah, because you can't have a Merry Monday without some of that bad news from Azure News. I got some of the news. So, as I said in my two previous videos, that the Brown Man stock has crashed, has plummeted. It's over, and it doesn't feel more over. And I never really considered Justin Mark to be like fully brown or fully Indian, even though he fits like the appearance and the stereotype, being the short guy, whatever, right? Um, yeah, man is seeing his court date. And tonight at 6, I didn't want to watch it. It's just like too fucking humiliating. I'll just watch it, or like rewatch it on like YouTube if I have to. Oh man, they're doing like a documentary on this guy, and they have the fucking witnesses. He's done. He's done for. Oh, actually, I should have watched it, but I have to work out, so I'm just like, whatever. Hey, what time is it? I can see. Maybe I'll catch the interview. Oh shit, I have time. Fuck, it's in a half an hour. I was watching CTV. It just popped up, and you just see his face. Like, oh fuck, man, no way, no way. Because it's like it's all fun and games. You have your jokes and you have your laugh at his expense and shit. Until like it's serious to the point where you're glad that you never made friends with the guy, you never spoke to the guy, and like you don't know anybody who he knows. It's just like this huge gap between you two. But like the Brown Man stock, it's done. It's done. Like if that couldn't get any worse, right? So as I was saying about like Andrew Schultz and Akash's friends from his what was it called again? Something podcast. Flagrant. Yeah, Flagrant podcast, right? I was like, yo, you don't need friends like this. Like these aren't your friends. Like they should have talked you out of this. Like this was a totally bad idea. Now he goes on Charlemagne, the god, aka if you're not black, if you don't vote for Joe Biden, you're not black, aka that guy. Oh man. So he goes on his show, and then Charlemagne says, "Yo man, keep your wife off the fucking mic. Keep your wife off the internet. Don't take away her fucking podcast and shit. She's dumb." And then like they're all laughing at it, at like the rhetoric, because it's like it's not just true. It's like I kind of get the feeling that Andrew wanted to tell Akash this, but he just didn't have the heart to do it because you know it's that pride thing that these idiots have. It's like they don't want to admit that they're wrong. She doesn't want to admit that she's a hoe. I'm so glad I stopped watching the video after I cringed at that. I think like 7 or 9 minute mark, because this is how the interview went. Like they're asking all the hard hitting questions, and the fucking excuses that Jaslyn makes up is fucking ridiculous. First, they pull out some like fake Urban Dictionary, term for popping a pussy, and it's like, oh, when you dance. I'm like, the fuck, dude. So like, okay, fine, one off, right? But then she's like, I'm a virgin, and then she's talking about those two other stories, right? One story where a guy's like fingering her butthole, another story where a guy's going down on her and then she's bleeding and shit. And I'm like thinking to myself, well, how much of a fucking virgin are you? Like I said, like this dumbass is playing cricket. She doesn't understand the advancements, first, second, third base. Like she doesn't understand it, and it's like something that not only came back to bite both of these losers in the ass, but it's almost as if like they are just enslaved to the whole concept of internet like drama and shit. Like it's not so much that they know it's wrong for them and it's never going to stop. It's like they can't because they're so pathetic. Like they can't do anything else beyond their life other than mix with the controversy and shit. Because it's like it's funny. Like Philion's like just catching up to the whole Sudan thing, and I'm not like trying to blame him or anything. He's like obviously a busy guy, whatever, right? But it's like the whole idea of fly out to Dubai and whatever, go to vacation there. You go on vacation there, you have to say good things about Dubai. You can't say anything bad about Dubai. You can't break any of these rules and shit. There's strict rules. Did you know that Dubai and the UAE is funding the RSF, a fucking genocidal like maniac group that's running through Sudan and killing up all these civilians and shit, doing like all these fucking war crimes, like rape, all that shit, like stealing gold, taking it back to the Emirates to kind of like cut. It's kind of fucked up. Just like so many people were like, "Oh, check out Dubai. This place is so great. This place is so wonderful." And they have no idea they've taken part and helped fund one of the world's biggest genocides. We don't actually know. Because like the idea is we're seeing like, bodies from satellite. So that's pretty significant. Also, like that's the estimate. We don't know if there's mass graves, if they try to get rid of the bodies, use gasoline, use, whatever, right? Decompose them, feed them to, like, animals and, bacteria, whatever, right? Acid. We don't know that. So chances are it could be even bigger than we realize, and, like, it's the world's biggest genocide. All funded by, come to Dubai, Habibi. I always thought to myself, like, these Muslims are fucking evil ass people, you know what I mean? Like, you always hear about, like, rape this, fucked up shit that, killing this, trashing the Christmas market that. And it's like, yeah, okay, cool, dude. Like, just like the Sikhs, you don't need your women, and your women most likely want, like, these other guys. Now, you can do your honor killings all you want, but most likely you're gonna wind up in jail, and you're gonna, like, rot the rest of your fucking life out there. And you're gonna live in a futuristic world where you have like AI surveillance, so you can't even do the bullshit that you used to be able to do. Because it's like you hear all these bad, fucked up stories. Like you hear about like, gangs of people running through Europe attacking kids, almost on like a daily basis, and it has to be questioned the validity of their reason to be here in the first place. There is none. Like we're seeing with the Somalian like enroachment into Minnesota, like basically 85% of them were on welfare. I'm like, wow, That's fucking terrible, but and they're also like, you know, siphoning benefits from the taxpayer. Like the validity of them being here, being in these countries is just bullshit. Sooner or later the world's gonna see that. Because it's like, oh, you want your cheap help, you want your cheap labor, yeah, you'll get it, but you don't want them, so automation and stuff. And like you don't want to wind up like Justin Mark. You don't watch this fucking video on CBC. I think we're gonna crucify him and shit. Oh man, Mondays. But like, you know, brown man stock is gone, dog. Like you gotta be yourself. You gotta be your own individual because these people are lost, confused, and stupefied. Their heads up their own asses, literally. You know, they can't pull it out. All right, take it easy.